You have entered the outlet.
Welcome to the outlet.
Your tech and entertainment connect.
I want to talk about focus.
Where we spotlight blacks in STEM.
My Shiro, give me some energy, ma'am.
Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
It's the real deal.
Our entrepreneurs.
You ready?
Tech and entertainment news.
Doing my own talk show.
The entertainment industry. Behind the scenes and all things in between.
And it's nothing but the truth.
Get ready to be enlightened, get inspired. Now your host, DJ Kei-Touch.
Yes, welcome to the outlet with Kei-Touch. Happy New Year. Look, it is a new year. We can't worry about what happened in the past. 2022 is gone, right? So this year, just be clear and intentional about your goals. So I'm just really excited today to have Suzette Samuel. Look, she's an entrepreneur, a realtor, an author, and we're going to talk about transformation. We're going to talk about real estate, and we're going to talk about her upcoming book. Welcome to the outlet with Kei-Touch, Suzette.
Hey, Kei. Thank you for having me. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, girl. I'm just so excited about 2023. It's hard to even believe we're saying that. 2023.
For real. I feel like last year went by in a blink of an eye.
It did. So do you do New Year's resolutions? How do you do this? Do you do that, or are you just playing all year? What do you do?
Yeah, you know what? I really don't. And I say that because I live my life just kind of planning and being strategic, you know? So I plan for the week every Sunday, so I feel like the Sunday before was no different than that actual Sunday. And I'm pretty on top of my goals and what I want to accomplish throughout my life. So New Year's resolution, I used to be into it. I used to do it, but then like February, March, you know, a lot of times things don't go as we plan. Sometimes you got to just take life as it happens, you know?
You're right about that. And I'm going to just shed some light with you, Suzette, on how I roll. So I feel like my New Year is my birthday. My birthday is July 4th. I love that holiday. But I feel like that's my anniversary, and that's the time I reflect on what I've accomplished. But we're going to talk about this season of transformation you're going through. You've been on TV. You've done a lot of different things. But we're talking about transformation and leaving last year and the years before behind, taking control of your brand and to continue to expand. Yeah, I like to rhyme a little bit. But
damn, you got bars, girl.
Just rolling with it. So I want to start off by talking about you being a realtor. I mean, real estate is hot. How is it down in Atlanta?
Girl. Oh, man. Listen, that's the best thing I could have did, you know. But the market is booming. I actually have a program for buyers where they don't pay any down payment. So that's really been keeping me, it's been keeping me busy. It's definitely been keeping me busy. So it's a blessing.
Oh, wow. So you have that kind of program going on in Atlanta. I know it's busy out there. I know it's busy.
Girl, I don't care what's going on. People, you always need somewhere to stay, you know, whether you renting or you going to buy. And even if you renting in this market, listen, you paying either way. Real estate is just one of them things that regardless to what you have going on in your life, you have to secure a roof over your head. So it's definitely, you know, a good industry to get into. And you an entrepreneur, you set your own hours, you move how you want to move, you your own boss, you know? It's a win-win. And you helping people. And the money is great.
And the money is great.
The money is great.
Yes, because I've noticed a lot of people since the pandemic have went into real estate. We're talking to, so we're going to call her right now since we're talking about real estate, Suzette the Realtor. So
hey.
on real estate, this is really big. And again, her website, shopsuzette.org, shop Suzette. And Suzette is spelled SUZETTE, shopsuzette.org. So let's talk about this for a minute.
Was you a rapper in your past life or something? Your flow.
My flow is good. It's
good. Flowing, girl.
I try to make people
flowing.
remember.
I want whatever you selling.
I love it. Yes. shop Suzette.org. You almost messed me up. But what I think is just so incredible, and one thing I want you to touch on real quick with real estate, I'm an Army veteran, right? And many veterans are not aware of the buying power and what they don't have to go through as much as everyone else when it comes to purchasing a home. Can you speak briefly about that? Because it's a lot of veterans in the DMV area and, of course, throughout the country.
Right. It's a catch-22 with the veterans, right?
Okay.
And let me tell you why. So I work with both buyers and sellers. I work with sellers, I work with buyers. When our client is a seller, sellers are highly advised against VA buyers. I know, it's crazy. It's perfect for the buyers. The program is perfect for you guys. You have no down payment. You have really no responsibility but to find a house and move in, right? But from a seller's point of view, because it's a government-backed program, when it comes to those inspections and the repairs, it's just certain inspections and repairs that have to be done in order for the deal to get funded. So when you have a VA loan, it's very important that you work with a realtor that know what they're doing, that is great at negotiating, and is just going to be a good advocate for your behalf. So, like, I have a listing now. We actually close next Friday. Woo, woo.
Yes.
$1 million house. And our buyer is a VA buyer. She was a strong VA buyer. We knew she wasn't playing no games. You know, she came in. We knew how she was moving, that it was a goal. So I'm going to just say, just in real estate in general, especially if you're purchasing a house, you want to interview realtors, because a lot of times I get people that, they were working with a realtor, it's not going too well, they trying to realtor hop, but once you sign that contract, you sign that contract. A realtor can release you if she want, but like with me, I lock my clients down for 6 months. I never had an issue with releasing, but it's a great opportunity for buyers. Just make sure you are with a knowledgeable realtor who's knowledgeable on the market and who knows how to negotiate, because that is very important when putting an offer in.
Well, that's important. I need that with anybody I'm going to hire, that realtor. And you're right, because a lot of people can be licensed realtors, but that doesn't mean they are the best negotiators or can deal with the different programs that you may qualify for. So do your research. That's what Suzette, the realtor, said.
And it's coming from me. Like, I've had my license about 3 years now, and I really just mastered the art of negotiation. And that's because, real estate school don't teach you how to be a realtor. So we're going to put that out there. Real estate school is just to pass your state test, and once you pass your state test, that's when the real work begins. It's a lot of work in the back end. Like, a lot of times people just see the fancy house pictures on Instagram. They see the realtors living it up, looking cute, always traveling or whatever. But with real estate, you could be a realtor and not produce.
But what's the point?
You can hold a license and not make no money. With me, my first year, I had the clients, but I didn't have the right team. So because I didn't have the right team, I couldn't close no deals. Being an agent, we could only do but so much. Our job is to just show them the house. You need lenders, you need contractors, you need inspectors, you need the whole nine to make a transaction happen. So that was actually one of my biggest lessons, especially, not being from Atlanta. I'm from New York, so when I got my license, I had to learn about the state of Georgia. I had to learn about the areas. I had to, when people was talking about certain areas and geographics, I'm like, okay, well, what is she talking about? So my first year after I got my license, I didn't even really practice. I really had to kind of put in that education on the back end so that I wouldn't do an in-service to my clients. So that's why the realtor that you select as a buyer, even as a seller, is so important, because you want to make sure they are educated on the market. The market, we done went through three market shifts in the past year. Wow. Your realtor got to be educated on what's going on so they could kind of move with the market. Like right now, any realtor that's representing buyers, y'all could get y'all buyers some closing costs. Because it is not a seller's market like it was in June where everybody was overbidding. You know? So, listen, y'all looking to come to Atlanta, Georgia? Y'all want to move down here? I got y'all.
Well, not even if you want to move. People want additional properties, you know.
That too. Investment properties, listen, everything. But no, Atlanta is just one of them states that it's the real estate industry, you know, the industry is just always popping. Like, some people say it's slow, but again, it just depends on what you're offering. So with me, because I have this no down payment program, I've been pretty busy.
I bet you have. You starting the new year off
pretty
right.
busy.
Look, you can
Girl.
you can follow Suzette on Instagram, Suzette_the Realtor. Again, Suzette_the Realtor, A&N Realty, A&N Solutions.
Yes,
Find out
ma'am.
more about that. But she's just an overall entrepreneur. And what I was thinking is because you've been on TV and been featured, what about a reality show about real estate?
You want to know something? That would be so dope. But even like, you want to know what's crazy?
What's crazy?
You want the real honest, the real truth?
The real honest, the real truth. Give it to me.
Okay, so there's this stigma with us people. When I say us, I mean us colored people, right? There actually is a reality show about real estate. It's in several states. I know it's in Tampa. I know it's in Cali. They just did Atlanta last year, so that was the first season in Atlanta. And you know, it just seems that in the locations where there's minority women, there's drama. You don't really see them closing deals and selling houses. You just see the drama. Versus the location with the Caucasian women, you seeing them at the closing table, you know. And what's so crazy about the Atlanta show is the women that they had on the Atlanta show were so powerful. They were actually some of the top producing agents in the entire state of Georgia. So it was just like, why couldn't we see that on TV? You know, it was a whole thing on social media, like 50 Cent, DJ Envy, like, you know, different people just had different things to say about it because it was just like, okay, we have the one industry where we're really doing good at in real life, like it's legit. We not, you know, we don't have to act crazy. We don't have to punch nobody in their face. We just out here selling houses. And y'all still don't want to showcase that. Y'all still trying to showcase us in this negative light. So I think it's going to take someone to really just be their own, what's the word I'm looking for, producer. Okay. And produce what we want to see. Because if we leave it up to what's already considered reality TV out here, you know, drama sells. And that's what they own. But I definitely think we need a real estate show where just even off the knowledge I just gave y'all today, I'm pretty sure I didn't help the buyer or two, you know, where we're educating our people because they're not teaching us this type of stuff in school. They're not teaching us how to secure home loans or home ownership. They're not teaching us how to make sure our credit is good or even the steps to become a homeowner. So I definitely think that would be a dope idea, but it would have to be in the hands of someone responsible and is really about the message versus the rating, if that makes sense.
Oh, no, it makes plenty of sense. And I don't really even think it's more so the rating, so to speak. I think it's just the drama and the image. And I've always had challenges with Black reality shows because I would see drama and I'm like, well, I thought it was supposed to be about this. I'm trying to learn something because I watch documentaries, things like that. I don't want to see that. I can see that in the hood. If I want to see some people.
It's about the ratings.
It's about the ratings.
Listen, coming from just doing reality TV, they don't care what you got going on in your real life. It's about what's going to sell that show because that's how everybody gets paid. And actually, in them type of environments, the less drama you have, the less you get paid. The more crazy you acting, the more, you know, negativity you bring to the show, the more people talking about you, whether it's negative or positive, your stock go up. So it's kind of like, okay, well, I don't want to act like this, but this is how I gotta act to secure my check, you know?
Wow.
And that's just the space of reality TV.
And that's unfortunate, especially when it comes to people of color, because one of my favorite shows is Swamp People. And I'm just amazed because I have family down in Louisiana watching them catch these gators, and they're not scared of nothing. But look, Suzette, we're going to take a quick break. It's the Outlet with Kei-Touch with Suzette. Look, she's had her realtor hat on, but she's an entrepreneur. She's an author. She's been on TV. She's been on reality TV. And, you know, we're just talking about this new year, 2023, and what it's going to bring. It's Outlet with Kei-Touch. Stay with us.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome back to the Outlet with Kei-Touch. I'm just so excited to have Suzette Samuel bringing in the new year with me. Look, we are talking serious things. We're talking entrepreneurship. We're talking transformation. We're talking real estate. We're talking about changing your mindset, controlling your brand. That's what it's all about. And Suzette, you were talking about accountability, and that's what I got from it. Accountability. And I think it's really important to be accountable. As a talk show host, I'm always accountable because being a talk show host, it has to be a reflection, and my show has to be a reflection of my beliefs as well.
Right.
So on this show, you will never hear gossip. You will never hear people tearing other people down. And as our founder, the great Miss Kathy Hughes says, information is power. We are unapologetically Black. We are here to help each other.
I like that.
So we're talking.
Unapologetically Black, information is power. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. So it's all about responsibility and accountability. And I'm really thankful that you shared information about real estate that we're not aware of. We're just not aware of. And to do your research. But that allows me to shift gears real quick because also on shopsuzette.org, that is shopsuzette.org or Suzette_the Realtor on IG, that's Instagram. You talked about mentoring, and then I was looking at your Instagram page, and one of these posts you had just really struck me. And so I'm just going to say it. You said you cannot be a public success and a private failure.
Girl.
Wow. Suzette, speak to me on that. I mean, that's deep in itself. It just kind of takes your breath away. Like, huh?
Yeah. You know what it is? Social media is all about perception. So, you know, a lot of people suffer mental health issues. A lot of people feel inadequate. A lot of people feel frustrated within themselves and their goals because they feel like they're not moving at an accelerated pace as everyone else because of what they're seeing on social media, you know? But in all reality, and I was one of those people. So let me clear this up real quick. Anything that I talk about is because I've experienced it myself or I've done. So I'm real big on factual information. I'm not biased. I'm real big on, okay, I've been there, I've done that, so I can speak on it. And I was one of those people, you know. So, you can't look one way, but then it's like when you get off the phone and you close that app and you look in the mirror, you're disgusted at what you see, or you don't have what you're talking about, or you're not even the person you're portraying yourself to be. You're not a positive person. You're not a motivated person, you know, and it's okay. And I feel like how I attract my audience different is because I'm raw, you know. So when I go through things, I'm going through it. And everybody knows that, you know. People that's been following me for a while, they've watched me transition through so many phases of my life to get to this point. And it's never been about, I didn't say that, or I ain't come from that. You know, I'm always vocal because I believe where I come from, you know, it's important to tell your story. You never know who you're going to help. So I want to inspire. I want to motivate. You know, no, I did not just wake up and become a realtor. I had to get a new follower on my page. I had to get her together the other day because I'm like, listen, sweetheart, like, Google me real quick. Like, I have a crazy past where I could have been a product of my environment, but it just boils down to wanting more. We have to hold ourselves accountable. We can't live in excuses. You know, everybody has a story. everybody comes from some type of struggle, some type of pain, some type of trauma, some type of unfortunate event or circumstances has happened to each and every one of us. The difference between me and maybe the next person is I fueled that as motivation, whereas another person may have felt defeated because of it. So, yes, accountability. We got to hold ourselves accountable for what we want to accomplish in our lives. No dream is too big or too small. Like, accountability, that's a major word right there, man. That's the word of the year. We're going to make that the word of
the word of the year.
Word of the year. Because, listen, if you hold yourself accountable, you're going to realize how different your life and your mindset could be. It's the people that be in denial and they be hiding from themselves. You can fake it all you want.
Start with the man or woman in the mirror, like Michael Jackson said. Make a change. And it's something.
Make a change.
Yeah, and it's something because you just talked about, everyone has a story. You're from New York. You're from the boogie down Bronx, right?
BX, yep.
And you tell us a little bit about your parents, your background. This is really interesting.
Oh, man. Okay, so I was conceived in Trinidad. So there's nothing American about me, but I'm very Americanized. So when I say that, both my parents are full-blown, full-blooded Trinidadian and Chinese on both sides.
Wow.
My mom found out she was pregnant, and she came to America before she gave birth. So I was conceived. I was born out here, but I was conceived over there.
Wow.
And my childhood, I grew up kind of lost, not really knowing. This is in my book too, y'all. Not really knowing like my identity. And it wasn't until I was 16 that my father found me on Facebook.
Wow.
And I realized, he told me that the first 5 years of my life I spent in Trinidad.
Really?
So a lot of us, we go through self-identity issues, or we go through not really being in tune with who we are because of our parents or our environment and stuff like that. And it's okay, but again, accountability. It gets to a point where you got to just be like, you know what? Okay, that's what happened to me. That's why I'm like this. All right, cool. And now that I have children, I'm making sure I don't make those same mistakes. But yes, I'm from New York, born and raised, from the Bronx. As a teen, I was in the shelter. I was in the system. I had my first daughter in the shelter. My first apartment was in the projects. And, typical scenario, young black female in the projects, domestic violence, getting beat by my baby father. Had my second daughter, getting locked up, in and out of jail. Caught a case, was looking at 3 to 5 years.
Oh, wow.
Actually changed my life because that's what prompted me to go to school. So I did everything society tells you to do. I went to school, got a college degree in psychology, was studying case management, and was doing like social work, case management type of work. And I just decided that I wasn't going to thrive in New York. I wanted better. I've always been a hustler. I've always had to do what I had to do. I'm a single parent. So it was just one of them things where it was like, okay, I'm a case manager. Whether I have 10 caseloads a week or 2 caseloads a week, I'm getting paid the same pay. I need to be getting paid based on my hustle. And that's what prompted my move to Georgia. I wanted something different. New York is a real handicap, they handicap you type of state where they give you benefits and they make you, dependent on the system. And that's what I was. So I definitely, was on the food stamp, the free $570 a month. And, to be on those government-based programs, you have to hide your income. So if anybody knows anything about life, about buying a house, about getting funding, about buying a car, just about living, you have to prove your income. So when you're in that type of environment to where you are depending on the system, we're really selling ourselves short because we're not pushing ourselves to our potential because we're like, damn, well, okay, I can't even put $1,000 in my bank account because I need this $570 in food stamps for free that I'm getting every month. not even realizing that we can start businesses and we could become great and make that in a week. But because it's free, quote unquote, we cripple ourselves and we remain stagnated, and we just become a product of our environment. We accept the bare minimum. And even living in the projects, think about it. All of this, that's what it is. They keep us in these little cluster groups in society, in neighborhoods, in certain counties, in certain states to keep us there, you know?
And let me interject real quick, Suzette, and I just wanted to mention your book since you brought it up. We was going to cover that in the next segment. She had to die to become her. Shop Suzette.org. Shop Suzette.org. But I like the way you're talking about changing the mindset and accountability. And what struck me to interject was it's the difference between a neighborhood and a community.
Yes.
Big difference. And when you own, and even people when they get their kids, when they get their bike, and I know you have kids, they may have scooters and all the new stuff. But when I had a bike, it was like, wow, I was proud of my bike. It was mine. I kept it clean. And of course, my first car, I kept it clean. This is my car. And that's the same thing what you're speaking about when you're talking about a neighborhood, when you're in the projects, you're on assistance. You don't have the same mindset as this is mine. This is my parents' house. This is what they, worked their whole lives for. And so I can go further and be better. Ooh, girl, we are starting a new year off right again with Suzette Samuel. We're talking about transformation.
Thinking about houses.
Yes.
I know a house till I moved to Georgia, honestly.
Wow. But you can't dream sometimes what you can't see. And I say this all the time here on the outlet with Kei-Touch. I say, it's one thing to tell somebody you can do whatever you want to do. You can be whoever you want to be. But until you can show that person, show that child, someone who looks just like them, that came from the same environment or worse than what they came from and made it, you don't really have a clear example. And I got to go back to your point and wrap this up. Responsibility and accountability on shopsuzette.org. You will find mentorship. And she's talking about coaching. We're talking about coaching. And I didn't even understand the power of coaching and the difference between coaching and technically mentorship until a few years ago. And coaching, let's speak about coaching, what you're doing with the mentorship program on shopsuzette.org.
Hey, okay, so let me even tell you how that happened. So again, that wasn't even my mindset, But I've helped a lot of people behind the scenes, but it was really just me doing an interview on a popular podcast out here in Atlanta, and it's on YouTube and it went viral.
Okay.
And when I say viral, I mean like 500,000 views. I done got like close to 2,000-3,000 messages from women. My audience has always been men because of who I was before I transformed my life. But I have so many women just reaching out to me, and it became overwhelming in a good way, and I just was like, dang, like I wish I could help these people because like you just said, if we don't have that role model in front of us, we fall victim to our environment or our circumstance. And I did a poll on Instagram and I said, what are 3 things that are holding you back from reaching your fullest potential? And the answers that I got from that is what I use to form my coaching challenge.
Wow.
Yes, girl. And it's crazy because a lot of us struggle with the same things. It was the same, about 5-6 answers, over 400 comments. And it's just women like me that come from the club or come from the streets, and they're like, listen, like I know if you could do it, I could do it. I don't have no baby daddy. I'm not getting no child support. I don't have no rich baby father. It's literally me. Like I had to get it out the mud, and I think that's why my kids are gonna be so powerful because my oldest daughter, she watched me literally grind. I went to the group home with the clothes on my back. I had her in a shelter, and we are here. She's gonna be 16 in April. And she just tells me every day, like, Mom, like, I'm so proud of you because I've been through so much. And y'all going to see in my book, like, I've been through hell and back, even with her. Like, she suffered from mental health issues. I had the state trying to fight me because they're trying to tell me I need to medicate my kid. And it's just a lot that I went through. So I can relate to what make me so dope. I'm not one of them people that's going to be coaching you on some stuff I never been through. I done been through everything you could think of outside of drug addiction. Anything, and I done popped a pill or two and had, had to smoke weed. I got my college degree high, but I done been through every single thing you can think of, and I overcame it. So I can sit here and coach somebody and mentor somebody to get through those same obstacles that not only did I overcome, but I also went to school and got a degree in. So I got the street side and the experience in real life, but I also have the degree side and what they tell us, it should be. Because sometimes it don't mix. But that's what make me so dope because it's going to mix. Everybody's situation is different. It's going to mix. Because, listen, I couldn't do therapy. Therapy ain't worked for me. I tried therapy at 3 different times in my life. And, again, having a psychology degree and going through what I go through, Rebecca can't sit here and tell me what's wrong with me if she ain't have to do a couple things I had to do too. How you gonna tell me how I'm gonna overcome my situation and you never was in a situation yourself?
I love it.
And then the one time I was open to it, like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna take my psychology hat off and I'm gonna just be coachable. Because sometimes if you're not coachable,
wait a minute, she's
not gonna work.
Hold on, Suzette. We have to take a quick break. But I wanted to hit these coaching points that you polled: spiritual guidance, self-love and healing, self-doubt, discipline, procrastination, time management, financial literacy, and real estate. This is very important and great things. Again, shop Suzette.org. Look on the Outlet with Kei-Touch. On the other side, we're going to get into this book. This book we have been talking about. We've been teasing about it. Look, you do not want to miss this. We got to take a quick break. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Outlet with Kei-Touch. Oh, this song just always gets me excited. Run the world, girls. Hey, welcome back, Suzette, to the Outlet with Kei-Touch.
Hey, y'all.
Yes, so, I know you've been down in Atlanta. Have you had a chance to check out some HBCUs? There's a few of them down there. You got Clark, Morehouse. I don't think they have a band, but if you had a chance to see some of the marching bands, HBCU, to get that feel.
Don't judge me, but the closest I've came to an HBU in Atlanta is watching Stomp. Sorry, see, look, there you go. Is watching Stomp the Yard.
No. Okay, that's your challenge in 2023. Okay, you will see an HBCU marching band so you can understand why these instrumentals really do it for me. I'm from the South, from Houston, Texas, and was in the band in high school. And so it's something about that music in the band. I just love it. But back to this book. And the title is so powerful. She had to die to become her. In the bookmark, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Philippians 4:13. Shop Suzette.org to pre-order. It's pre-sale price. It comes out February 1st. Let's talk about the name of the book. Let's just start there because that's powerful in itself.
Yes, girl, yes. So, so she had to die. Until I couldn't really get in this space until I transformed. And there's different stages, there's different levels to transformation. There's mindset, there's environment. What holds most of us back, especially women, is bondage. So people can be in bondage. When people hear the word bondage, they think of relationships, but there's so many different things that can hold us bound. Self-sabotage is one of the main things where we're holding ourselves back, our mindset, so whether it's lack of love, lack of knowledge, lack of education, lack of support. yeah, and I just kind of had to transform my mindset because I was just like, because of my past, I was just real hard on about, I don't need nobody, and I don't need love, and I'm gonna do everything by myself, and even down to spirituality, I don't need God, because where was God when these things happened to me? Like, I've been raped, I've been kidnapped, so I've been through a lot of traumatic events throughout the course of my life, and it wasn't until I changed my mindset, because that's where it starts. If your mindset is messed up, I don't care how much money you have, I don't care who you know, nothing is going to go right in your life. So that is the main thing that I had to kill to become the person that I am today. So that's why even in the little shadow of my book in the background, you see my face, you see I'm crying, I'm a little bruised, I got bruises on my face, on my chest, I got tears coming down my eyes. And it really just took me surrendering my flesh, my soul, to a higher power, to God. It wasn't until I found God that my life started to change. They say you live by the sword, you die by the sword. I've escaped death 3 times. The first time it was kind of like, you get a little cocky, you like, ha! Like I'm meant to be here, but you don't really understand what that means. The second time it was kind of like, damn, like, okay, well, this is getting kind of scary. This is getting kind of close. And the third time it was like, oh, he gonna take me out, So it was really my near-death encounters that really showed me how blessed I was. Because a lot of times we look at our trials, we look at our tribulations, we be so focused on what we don't have that we lose focus on what we do have. And it just really took those moments in my life to be like, you know what, I got to do better. I was told I couldn't have kids. I popped out 2 kids, full-term, vaginal birth, no medication. So my whole life is just a testimony of what I've been through, what I've escaped, and what I've walked into and what I'm walking into. And it took faith, it took sacrifice, it took obedience. And it wasn't until I mastered those 3 that I'm here.
Had to die to become her. How to discover your purpose and transition from bondage to breakthrough. And one thing I just have to say about shopsuzette.org, the bookmark. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I really don't even try to do this Philippians 4:13, all rhyming. But look, the thing that I think is so powerful with your influence and talking about God, talking about your faith and what got you through is such an influential tool for you to share and spread that, because some people don't feel it's cool to talk about God, cool to talk about church. If you've lived life and you've gone through some things, especially our people, we believe in God, and God has carried us through so much. But I just wanted to say, just the fact that you have scripture from the Bible on your bookmark is powerful, and it'll go a long way when we're talking about social media. You were even talking about influencers and how people are seeing this and seeing that. Somebody looking and maybe a little down, they see I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And I see you even have the shirts for sale too. ShopSuzette.org. That's why it's called Shop Suzette.
I'm trying to build a community of women, because one thing about my story, I didn't have that support. I didn't have that guidance. It's a lot of decisions I could have did differently, which I know is part of my story. So I don't regret anything I've been through or anything that I've done. But just being who I am now, my whole life has been built on helping people. Like my first job was at the shelter where I had my daughter, and that's because they seen the influence I had in there, so I've always had that light to where I demand attention. For one, I'm 5'10", so any room I walk in, you're gonna be like, well, damn, she's tall. But I'm a pretty female, but what makes me stand out is my substance. So when I talk, people listen, and I come from a background where I was getting people to do the wrong things. I was using my influence the wrong way. And, you know, I literally died. Like I was pronounced dead at one point in my life.
Wow.
And, you know, that was the start of my spirituality, to where it was just like, okay, you got to do better. But, you know, still of this world, listen, I'm in the industry. I'm a video vixen. I'm a bartender. Like, I'm lit. You know, I don't know what it is to pay bills. I don't, back then anyway, because I'm paying them now.
Yes.
But, you know, I just come from that lifestyle that's glorified on TV. I just come from that lifestyle where these young girls, and again, I can speak on it because I have a 15-year-old, and I had to sit her down and really explain to her in real life what's going on behind closed doors, you know? And it's just like, no, somebody has to tell these people the truth.
Yes.
Somebody has to tell these people what go on behind closed doors. You know, the unhappiness. It's so many girls that's getting raped and kidnapped in the industry, or being held against their will to do certain things to be popping or to be popular. You know, just because she on a flyer don't mean she getting paid. She doing some things for a piece of change to get paid, you know?
Wow.
And I just feel like my book is going to expose all of that. You know, like when you done reading my book, you're gonna have a sense of hope. You're definitely going to go through some type of transformation to where you're going to know, like, okay, this is what I want to do. This is who I am. And this is what I'm going to do to get to where I want to be. So it's a difference of just reading a book and being entertained, you know, for the time frame it takes you to read the book. And then there's a difference of reading a book and actually having principles in that book that you can apply to your actual life in real life to get you to the next level.
And what you said, hold on, Suzette.
I'm going to entertain y'all now.
It's going to be entertaining, but I just want
to be entertaining.
I wanted to tell you, I don't read fiction books. There's so much stuff in real life that is serious.
No, real life.
And I want to circle back, Suzette, because it's funny how time flies. We only have like a few minutes left, maybe about 5 minutes left. But I want to circle back, right, to talking about a little bit about what you share in the book. And we were talking about social media earlier and people getting the wrong impressions and having, you know, low self-esteem because they don't feel they're doing what others are doing. But like you just shared with us, people don't see the real story. Just because this person has 3,000 followers or 30,000 or 1 million followers, you don't know what they're going through. And you touched on mental health. You talked about so much. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yes. And no, you good. Yeah. And that's actually a clip on my page now about an interview I did, to where it's like I had to tell the interviewer, I said, listen, people looking at my Instagram thinking I'm lit, but in real life, I'm damn near homeless with my daughters. You know, like, these are things that I went through in real life, but you would never know. Even now, like the warfare I went through, writing that book, the things that I was going through, it was a lot, but that's the thing with social media. You only show people what you want them to see.
Right.
You only see what they want you to see. You're not going to see the real deal. You're not going to see what they really going through behind closed doors.
So here on the Outlet with Kei-Touch, it's all about sharing information. What words, and you said you have a teenage daughter, what words do you have for these teenagers and these young girls in their 20s who are trying to live up this lifestyle, being a video vixen, being in the industry? What words of advice do you have for them?
It just really boils down to educating yourself. Mm-hmm. Don't want to be a part of something because it's something that you see and you feel like it's cool and you feel like it's a trend. Find your purpose. We all have a purpose. Find something you're good at and find a way to make money off of it while helping other people. Ooh. Because that lifestyle, eventually you're going to crash and burn. For one, it doesn't last forever. You know, and if you are in the lifestyle, one thing that people struggle with is an exit strategy. You got to have an exit strategy because guess what? You ain't going to look like that in 5, 10 years. And guess what? Like in my generation, I'm from the Melissa Ford, Buffy the Arrow body. You see how y'all don't hear nothing about them no more. It's the younger girls. It's the Aries. It's the Jadas, you know?
Yes.
So it's only for a limited time. you got to have an exit strategy. You got to have a plan because it's but so long you can use your looks to get what you want. You got to have some type of substance about you. You got to have some type of goals about you. You got to have some type of knowledge and education about you. And one more thing before I go, the circle, who you surround yourself with is very important. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong circle.
I say it all the time.
People. If you're the smartest person in the room, you in the wrong circle. You need to be around people that's uplifting you and motivating you to do better and to be better. And if you're not seeing that within the people that you're talking to and you're being around on a day-to-day basis, you need to change your circle because 9 times out of 10, your circle is part of your downfall.
Wow.
I'll end it with that.
Powerful. And I mean, that's crazy because that's something I always say, Suzette. I always say that I don't ever want to be the smartest person in my clique. I want others that can teach me as well because, and think about it, if you're the one always giving, you're not receiving anything. You're teaching everybody everything and you're not learning anything, and you have to continue to learn. And that's just my goal. I'm going to learn until I take my last breath. I don't care how many years I live.
Yep.
Go ahead.
And I was real big on the day ones. Listen, sometimes your day twos is going to treat you better and elevate you higher than your day ones.
Wow.
At the point I'm at in my life right now, there's nobody in my life that's from my past. Nobody. Because as you start to break away from old habits, as you start to break away from old lifestyles, as you start to break away from the person you no longer want to be, you have to leave those people behind unless they're growing and elevating with you. You can't go to a new chapter, a new season, still entertaining people that's doing the things you no longer want to do or living the way you no longer want to live. You have to leave those people because guess what? That's going to delay your blessing.
Wow, Suzette Samuel.
Listen, don't get me started, girl. We be here all day.
All day, but I love it. I appreciate you. Opening the new year on the Outlet with Kei-Touch with these positive vibes. Shop Suzette.org. You will be in for a treat on IG. Check her out, Suzette_the Realtor. We're talking real things here. 2023, this is your year. Don't worry about last year. We're talking about transformation. Take control of your brand. We can't worry about the past mistakes. Accountability. Yes. Learn from it.
Worry about yourself.
Positive vibes only. Positive vibes only. Thank you so much, Suzette.
For having me. Thank you. This was dope. Yes. We gotta do it again.
Yes, we definitely will. Look, it's the Outlet with Kei-Touch. Until next week, peace.